Be honest. Have you ever gripped the sides of the toilet, turned red in the face, and strained with everything you had just to have a bowel movement? Maybe you sat there for 10, 15, even 20 minutes. Pushing repeatedly, telling yourself it would come eventually? Most people consider this a minor inconvenience. After what you learned today, you will never look at that morning bathroom routine the same way. Here is the number that should make you stop and pay attention. In a 4-year clinical study, tracking 907 cardiac arrest patients, 11% of all cardiac arrests occurred inside the bathroom. That is more than 1 in 10. Even more alarming, only 10% of those patients were witnessed collapsing. 9 out of 10 were alone when they went down, with no one nearby to help. And a separate large-scale analysis found that people with constipation face up to double the risk of serious cardiovascular events. Compared to people with normal bowel habits, constipation is independently associated with a 19% higher risk of ischemic stroke and an 11% higher risk of coronary artery disease. For people who have both hypertension and constipation together, the risk of heart disease jumps by an additional 34%. Recently, a woman in Hong Kong strained so forcefully during a bowel movement that she lost 10 years of memory, stunning medical professionals worldwide to understand how this is possible and why the early morning bathroom visit is the most dangerous time of day. You need to understand exactly what happens inside your body when you strain. The act of bearing down hard during a bowel movement is called the Valsalva maneuver. It means forcefully exhaling against a closed airway while applying abdominal pressure. This single action triggers a rapid and extreme roller coaster of cardiovascular changes that can overload the heart and brain within seconds. During the strain phase, pressure inside the chest cavity surges suddenly upward, and systolic blood pressure can spike by 50 millimeters of mercury or more in just a few seconds. In severe straining, the spike can exceed 100 millimeters of mercury. Someone whose resting blood pressure is 120 may see it briefly reach 200 or above. This explosive pressure surge hits vulnerable points in the brain's blood vessels and the aorta with enormous force. But the Valsalva maneuver does not end there. The pressure buildup blocks venous blood from returning to the heart, reducing cardiac output. The heart rate compensates by climbing rapidly. Then the moment you release the strain, the blocked venous blood floods back to the heart all at once. This triggers a second blood pressure spike, followed immediately by a sharp drop as the system overcompensates. That sudden pressure crash reduces blood flow to the brain, which is why people faint, experience sudden severe dizziness, or in extreme cases, suffer a transient ischemic attack or ischemic stroke during or immediately after straining on the toilet. The whole sequence happens within seconds. The reason early morning makes this dramatically more dangerous comes down to your body's own internal clock. During sleep, blood pressure naturally falls by 10 to 20%. Beginning just before waking, it rises sharply, reaching its daily peak within 1 to 2 hours of getting up. Research confirms that morning systolic blood pressure can spike an average of 14 millimeters of mercury above the nighttime baseline, and in some cases far more. This phenomenon, called the morning blood pressure surge, is already one of the primary reasons why heart attacks and strokes cluster between 6 and 11 in the morning. When you walk into the bathroom during this already elevated blood pressure window, and then perform repeated Valsalva maneuvers, you are adding a second major pressure spike on top of an already dangerous baseline. This double hit is what overloads fragile vessel walls, ruptures unstable arterial plaques, and triggers the cardiac and cerebrovascular events that happen during morning bathroom visits. There is a third layer of risk that most people never consider: bringing your phone into the bathroom. Studies show that people who use smartphones while on the toilet have a 46% higher risk of developing hemorrhoids, which directly reflects the amount of chronic vascular pressure being applied. Beyond that, engaging with stimulating content raises cortisol and activates the sympathetic nervous system, pushing blood pressure even higher. You now have 3 simultaneous pressure-raising factors in play at the same time: morning blood pressure surge, repeated Valsalva straining, and phone-triggered stress arousal. This is the most dangerous combination possible during an already high-risk activity. Now here is what to do instead. The first change is posture. The medically ideal position for a bowel movement is a squat, because it straightens the anorectal angle and allows the bowels to empty with far less effort. On a standard Western toilet, placing a footstool 10 to 20 centimeters high beneath your feet raises your knees above your hips and closely mimics the squat position. Studies confirm that this posture reduces straining and speeds up bowel emptying significantly. You do not need a specialized product. A small step stool or even 2 thick books work immediately. The second change is breathing. Never hold your breath while straining. Breath holding during effort is exactly what creates the Valsalva maneuver. Instead, breathe in through the nose. Then exhale slowly through the mouth while gently applying abdominal pressure. Exhaling during effort keeps chest pressure from spiking dangerously and dramatically, reduces the cardiovascular stress of bowel movements. The third change is time limits. If you have not produced a bowel movement within 3 to 5 minutes, stand up and leave the bathroom. Walk around gently for 5 to 10 minutes. Do some light abdominal massage in small circles, and try again later. Repeated prolonged straining causes far more cardiovascular harm than waiting and returning with a more cooperative bowel. The fourth change is your morning hydration. During sleep the body loses significant fluid, which is one reason morning stools tend to be harder and more difficult to pass. Drinking 1 to 2 glasses of warm water immediately on waking stimulates the gastrocolic reflex, which activates bowel movement and softens the stool. Warm water is more effective than cold, and adding a small amount of lemon juice or prune juice increases the effect further. To solve constipation at the root, focus on 3 nutritional pillars. Fiber should reach 25 to 30 grams daily from whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and legumes. 2 kiwi fruits daily have been shown in clinical research to significantly improve constipation frequency and reduce straining. Prunes contain sorbitol, which draws water into the bowel and naturally softens stool. Magnesium from almonds, pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, and whole grains supports intestinal muscle contractions and pulls water into the bowel contents. A daily handful of almonds, roughly 30 grams, provides a meaningful magnesium contribution from food alone. Hydration matters just as much as fiber. Aim for 1.5 to 2 liters of water daily. Coffee can help stimulate bowel movements in the morning, but relying on caffeine without adequate water intake can worsen constipation over time through its mild diuretic effect. Build a morning routine around your body's natural timing. The gastrocolic reflex that triggers bowel movement is strongest in the first 15 minutes after breakfast. Eating breakfast and then giving yourself a calm, unhurried bathroom visit 10 to 15 minutes later is the most physiologically natural and lowest effort approach to regular morning bowel movements. When your body learns this pattern, it begins cooperating with it automatically. Light walking after meals also stimulates intestinal movement and simultaneously protects cardiovascular health, addressing both constipation and the underlying vascular risk at the same time. Even 10 minutes of walking after dinner improves bowel regularity measurably. Pay special attention to these warnings. If you have high blood pressure, a history of heart attack or angina, any cerebrovascular disease, a diagnosed aortic aneurysm, or chronic constipation lasting more than 3 months, forced straining during bowel movements is particularly dangerous for you. Discuss chronic constipation with your doctor, rather than relying on self-managed laxatives long-term. Lifestyle correction is the safest and most sustainable solution. If at any point during a bathroom visit, you experience severe chest pain, intense heart pounding, sudden dizziness with blurred vision, or sudden weakness in one arm or leg, open the bathroom door. Immediately, lower yourself to the floor and call emergency services. Do not stay seated on the toilet. Do not wait to see if it passes. The combination of a small enclosed space, a locked door, and a sudden cardiac event is the exact situation that makes bathroom cardiac arrests so frequently fatal. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone you know who has high blood pressure, heart disease, or struggles with constipation. Leave your questions in the comments below. The next video has more essential health information waiting for you. Thank you for watching, and please take care of yourself every single morning.